As a finance professional in a disrupted business landscape, what does it take to be in demand? What does it take to attract great paying international roles? If you're an ICAN member, it'll just take one exam. That's all it takes to complete the globally recognized CIMA professional qualification and the internationally respected CGMA designation. As a CIMA member and a CGMA designation holder, employers will look at you as a finance professional, constantly acquiring new skills to add value to the business. That's why they'll be willing to pay premium to hire and retain you. If you have 5 years of relevant experience and are an ICAN member, you can directly sit for the final exam of the CIMA Professional Qualification, the Strategic Case Study Exam. Start studying the CIMA Professional Qualification. Prepare to make an impact.
Good evening, professional colleagues, students and friends of the Institute. Ladies and gentlemen, you're welcome to another exciting episode of ICAN on Air. Today, Thursday, the 15th of December, 2022, proudly brought to you by the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria. I am your host, Olumide Balogun, FCA. Season's greetings to all our viewers connected from the four corners of the world. We appreciate you for always taking out the time every Tuesday and Thursdays to join us by 6 p.m. as we dive into topical issues concerning our profession, our country, Nigeria, and the world at large. On today's episode, we will be taking a close look at the topic, Grow Your Social Capital and Advance Your Career. Grow your social capital and advance your career. And our guest for today is no other person than Mr. Olusola Olumide. A brief profile of Mr. Olusola Olumide. Mr. Olusola Olumide is an individual with many parts. He is a social worker, an advocate, a teacher, a public speaker, a finance personnel, a youth coach, a relationship coach, a leadership trainer, and an author. He employs diverse endowments to create positive and enduring impacts in the lives of individuals, schools, organizations, social groups, and communities. As an astute speaker, resource person, certified behavioral control specialist, emotional therapist, and life coach, he has, for many years, inspired thousands of individuals with his unique and captivating blend of wisdom, encouragement, and enthusiasm. He is the author of these invaluable books, Winning with Emotional Intelligence, Activating the Power of Your Mind, Intelligence Model for Holistic Progress, Intelligence for Educators, The Dynamics of Youthful Life, and Strategy for Superior Performance. Mr. Olusola is a member of Emotional Intelligence Training and Research Institute based in Texas, USA. He serves as a mentor for Tony Elumelu Foundation Entrepreneurship Program. He has facilitated numerous career development, employee work-life balance, and workforce activation sessions for organizations in the private and public sector. He sits as a board member of Apogee Educational and Empowerment Initiative. He is the lead consultant of Longitude and Latitude International, based in Lagos, Nigeria. Wow, I'm sure, my dear viewers, that you don't want to miss any of this interactive session as we go on. I'll quickly go on a brief commercial break. As we've been telling you, this is the best avenue for you to bring in your goods and services as we are viewed all over the world. So I'll go on a quick commercial break right now, and I'll come back in to go straight to our guest segment. Quickly call a friend who is not yet connected to dial in. Stay tuned. I'll be right back. Hi, welcome back, dear viewers, professional colleagues. And just like I said before going on that quick break, we are hereby joined by Mr. Olusola Olumide, who is an emotional intelligence expert. Mr. Olumide, good evening, sir, and welcome to ICAN on Air.
Thank you, Mr. Olabalogu. It's nice being here once again and also to discuss a crucial topic like issue of social capital and as it borders on our career advancement. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. And one of the limited resources we always have on this show is our time. So I'll just go straight into it by saying that it's always a pleasure to have you on our show. And our global viewers are already, salivating for a tantalizing show. So, given our topic of discuss for today, could you please explain to us what is social capital?
Thank you. When you talk about the concept of social capital, you are talking about the effective functioning of a social group through interpersonal relationships, having a shared sense of identity, a shared understanding, a shared norm, a shared value, trust, or cooperation, as the case may be. In a nutshell, it's just talking about building relationship that is worthwhile and that is symbiotic. Thank you.
Wow, very well said, sir. Building a relationship that is worthwhile and that is symbiotic, that flows together. Well, you're talking to a lot of accountants who would, and naturally as accountants, each time we hear the word capital, we always think of financial measurement. Is social capital measurable in financial terms and can lead to financial, enhancements either in business or individuals' endeavors?
Yes, if we cannot rule out the fact that the concept of capital is coming in at this time, and I'm happy I'm talking to professional accountants who understand the concept of capital very well. Just to keep it short, it is often been said that your network determines your net worth. So it can be measured in figures, in financial terms, because of the benefit that it accrues to you. Yes, it's not that you are giving out cash or any financial instrument, but if you're able to relate well, it tends to open doors for you that can be to your benefit, that can lead to, say, opportunity, contract being given. Yes, you have the expertise, but you are not the only one. So knowing people, I tell you, can translate into monetary gains in the long run. Thank you.
Well, knowing people can transfer into the monetary gains in the long run. And I picked that very solid phrase that you said that your network determines your net worth. So that's a phrase to live by on a daily. Giving your insight into the concept of social capital, does it then suggest that the accounting knowledge would not be sufficient?
Thank you. If I get it right, you are talking about is the technical skill of an accountant not enough?
Absolutely. Yes,
Thank you
that's it,
very
sir.
much. Yes. The technical skill is necessary, is germane, and is very, very important. However, in this time and age, we need to imbibe social skill that serves like an icing on the cake to garnish our technical skill. Don't forget that if I'm an accountant, you're an accountant, you are just in how many thousands. And the way you relate, go person out of the team. So
Mr.
technically, very, very, very important, however, to garnish it with social skill, like what we call social capital. Thank you.
Oh, very well, very well. Technical skill is as important as the social skill, and we shouldn't forgo one for the other because we need them to work together. To all our viewers who are connected, but everywhere in the country and all over the world, we say thank you for joining us and for tuning in. And we are being guested today by Mr. Olumide Olusola, who is diving into the topic of discourse. And I move a step closer forward by saying, I'm now given the nature of the work done by professional accountants and the peculiarity of the profession. How can professional accountants build social capital?
Thank you for that question. Just the way we learned how to read and write, social skill can also be cultivated. It can be developed. Before I answer the question directly, human being is either we're an introvert or we're an extrovert. That can be further divided into whether you are a sanguine, you are a choleric, you are melancholic, or you are phlegmatic. Understanding your personality will help you on the steps to take to build social capital. It's not difficult, yet, some people are reserved, they are just by themselves, they are shy, and they are like, if I'm rejected, how am I going to do this? So please pay attention. One of the things to do to build social capital is to learn how to network proactively and be deliberate about it. I'm so excited that the Institute operates districts and societies. I think it's one of the ways whereby professional accountant can network, get to know other people, can glean opportunities, and can also be a blessing or a sort of support system to others. So number one, network proactively and be deliberate about it. Number two, you need to be strategic, you need to be courteous, and you need to be sociable. Number three, you need to create a diverse network and you make each group you are in, make it count. Beyond the district and society now, you can be on a WhatsApp group that you can have a group of those people you graduated in secondary school together, those who graduated in the higher institution together. You can also have the group of people you went to the same tuition house together while you were writing your professional exams. Your religious circle, you can also have a group. And people from your village, of your state, you can also have a group. You form different tribes. That is what I mean by create a diverse network and make each group count. Don't be passive, be active. Let them know you contribute and add your value to that group. Number next, pay it forward and leverage relationship. That means be a solution to others. When you give value, people feel they are obliged to reciprocate the same back to you. So pay it forward. Number next, set aside dedicated time each week to network. Go out of your way and meet people. Also, number next, keep in touch with former colleagues and alumni group. Don't say, oh, I've left that job. Keep in touch with them. Also, another thing is focus your social media networking effort. These are the days we meet virtually. Your LinkedIn, is it working? Your Facebook, your Twitter account, your Instagram account, these are not just groups or social media platform just to register and abandon it. Network proactively and connect with people. These are the things I want to say for now, where accountants can really build social capital. Thank you.
Wow, I mean, that's indeed you taking us to the classroom with notes of everything that you've said, because we really need to build our social capital, not forgoing colleagues that we worked with in the past. Always remember to pay it forward, irrespective of our personality traits. Be active in our social groups. These steps and more, just like you've highlighted, would always yield benefits to us. And while acknowledging all our members who are connected, I'd like to also acknowledge especially one of our consistent viewers in the person of Fagbola Temitope Adeniyi, and he has a question. He's saying that could you please share more light on how social capital serve as a nexus between human capital and financial capital as a business catalyst?
Thank you very much. I want to answer that question. Fagbola, thank you and for the consistency on this platform, and thank you for your question. I want to answer that question by telling this story. It's a real life story. I know somebody working in one of the financial institutions, and he wants to move to the level of principal manager. And they have a lot of them on a particular, maybe general manager. And each branch, if you have people who are qualified, they pick one or two. The year he was actually qualified to move on, he was not selected, even though he was qualified, because somebody in the branch has a friend who was picked. And the following year, there was one of the top executives he had worked with in another financial institution. The top executive didn't know that this fellow trying to move up has joined this new financial institution. They stumble on each other at an event. Oh, how are you? So and so. In fact, he told me that person mentioned my first daughter's name, Baba so and so. Oh, how is your daughter? How is your family? And they greeted. So when it was time to appraise them for the current year, the top executives, being in the know, looked at that, this is so and so. He said, okay, you are picking this so person, then add any other person to him. Both of them are qualified. They have the same year of experience. They have the technical expertise. In fact, they were professional accountants too. But this current year, this person talking to me needed not to sweat too much, because there was somebody he had worked with some 15, 20 years ago in another financial institution. So when it is time for selection, he was picked first and somebody else was added to him. That is what we call social capital. That is what it translates into financial gain, human capital development. Now, talking about business catalyst, I spoke about the issue of having contracts being given to you. I'm not talking of promoting mediocrity. No, it's not talking about nepotism. It's not talking about tribalism. It's not talking of sacrificing merit on the altar of mediocrity. No, you are qualified. You have what it takes, but I tell you, who you know also matters a lot. Or else, you just find out, why am I here? People who have the same qualification, who have the same expertise are moving on. I've been given contract. I hope you are aware. You don't just walk to any organization and say, oh, I'm good in this. I can good at that. Can you give me this contract? You are not the only person submitting quotation. There are 101 people submitting quotation. But somebody who is very sound and good as you are will be given the contract based on who he knows or she knows, and he will deliver the job. So it helps to catalyze our business. In fact, there are businesses you may never imagine you will win the contract, but because you know somebody and you have the competence to get the work done. So social capital enhances human capital development. It brings about financial gains. It leads to career advancement, and it can also catalyze our business to greater heights. Thank you very much.
Very well said. Oh, wow. Mr. Olusola Olumide, you are really hitting the nail on the head. It's not just what you know. I mean, you need to know, but also you also need to socialize so that what you know can actually be brought to the fore and you can get that leverage by the people you also know. Moving swiftly also, sir, I'd like to ask that does developing social capital affect any other area of our life apart from career?
Thank you. Developing social capital affects every area of our life. And because social capital we're talking about is a social skill, is a sort of employability skill. Go and find out. Honor, humility, respecting people will never get outdated. I've not seen anybody who was respected and honored and gets angry and say, why are you honoring me? Why are you respecting me? It's never done. Whether in marriage, whether as a professional person, in the neighborhood, I tell you, people observe you, They see the way you relate and interact with others in the place of work. They look at you. Go anywhere. They are skills that will be needed, whether now or in the years to come. They will never get at it. So it affects every area of our life. In fact, if people perceive you to be saucy or to be insolent, I tell you, people will move away far from you. If you are wooing a lady, you want to marry her, and the father-in-law, the mother father, and said, that man you brought home, can't you see he's full of himself? I'm not sure I'm going to give that man my daughter. I tell you, it affects every area of our life, and if you are not going to damage our own career by ourselves, it's a skill we need to develop. Thank you.
Very well, Atamaisa. Very well said. And once again, our viewers, I would like to say a big thank you to you for tuning in to today's episode of ICAN on Air. We're being guested by Mr. Olusola Olumide, who has been itemizing to us on how to build our social capital as relates to advancing our career. A rebuttal question again coming in from one of our favorite viewers in the person of Fabola, and he's saying, what are the effects of superiority or inferiority complex in social capital management in an organization?
Thank you, Fagbola. Both inferiority complex and superiority complex, they are disease of the mind. I say that again. Both are disease of the mind. I thought of leaving this nugget before now, but because of the question of Fagbola, I'm going to bring the nugget up. If you look at human being, our problem can be categorized broadly into two. Number one is ignorance. Number two is arrogance. Don't forget, human problem, look at it from any dimension, is broadly categorized into two. Number one, ignorance. Number two is arrogance. Actually, inferiority complex is talking about low self-esteem, and it's a behavioral disorder. There are things you need to stand up for. It's meant for you. You get them. But if you are feeling inferior, in fact, it's going to affect your productivity. Things you can take on, things you can do, you feel, well, I don't think I can do it. It's not humility. Inferiority complex is not the same thing as humility. So please get it right. When it is time to take honor for the work done, you don't run to the back and say, no, I can't do it. No. And people who know next to nothing, or who does not know as much as you are shining and taking the glory away, but you are the one working. At the end of the day, it keeps eating you up. Meanwhile, the superiority complex is even worse. You have over-bloated definition of yourself. And, when somebody is ignorant, it's bad, but you can easily get help. But when somebody is arrogant, it will be difficult for anybody to help him. So superiority complex will even damage the organization more than inferiority complex. For inferiority complex, maybe you are the only one that will suffer it. But for superiority complex, you keep having problems with virtually everybody you work with. So both of them are not good for organization. So it has to be managed. We must put our ego in check. And let me also drop this in addition to what I have said. A man's ego is directly proportionate to the level, to the size of his ignorance. The size of a man's ego is directly proportionate to the size of his ignorance. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Olumide. It's indeed a very engaging topic today. And if there's one thing I'm sure we'll be ringing in the minds of our viewers, is that do not be ignorant, do not be arrogant in all things that you do. But instead, we should seek knowledge and, not be egotistic in nature, just as you rightly put it. One of our viewers is also posing a question to you in the person of Shuai Badmus. He's saying, what do we do in trying to build network when it involves men to women, and one of the parties tends to misconstrue it for opportunity to engage in extramarital relationship. He has an opinion that women suffer this a lot. Could you please share more light on that, sir?
Thank you. Your question is very, very germane, Mr. Shuaib. And what you have said is not out of place. But in order to help yourself, please, number one, learn to set boundaries, especially when you are dealing with the opposite gender. Don't overstep your boundaries so that your good deed will not be misconstrued. Then take it a step at a time. You know what? The sympathizer should not cry more than the bereaved. You shouldn't carry the problem of the person you are trying to network or help on your head more than the owner of the problem, or else you'll be misconstrued. Please take it a step at a time. From just acquaintance, you know me, I know you, maybe in the office, for lunch, you're in a different department, or you are in a different organization close to mine, but we meet in the place we're having lunch almost every other day. Oh, good morning there. Oh, how are you? Eyes work. Hope you are going, things are doing fine. Oh, fine, thank you. Then you go your way. At another time, you greet. Then meanwhile, you also want to see the receptivity of the person you are dealing with. You don't force yourself on people. Friendship is not by force. Please, patience is another key virtue we need to exhibit. Even if you have it at the back of your mind, if you are not married, you want to marry the person, you need patience. And if you are married, one of the things that can help you is to when you are getting close to the person, talk about your family, talk about your wife, talk about how you are doing fine. You can even tell your wife to have a word with that woman or with that lady. Once you call your wife into the picture and say, oh, my wife, hello, Mrs. So-and-so, can you please have a word with my wife? I've discussed it with her. She wants to say hello to you. I tell you, it will clear the doubt of the woman that you are trying to have extramarital relationship. Set boundary, number one. The sympathizer should not cry more than the bereaved. Number two, be patient. Be patient, rather. Then set boundaries. Thank you very much.
Very well said. Be patient, set boundaries. And our viewers are really, really engaging in the chat box. I can see them from all over the world dropping their questions. I see you. There's a question here coming from Onwuma Ernest Chukwunaru, and he says, "Sir, how can one, in real terms, build a functional social and digital tribes within and outside with due cognizance of the reserved nature of accountants?" That's one. And secondly, how can one, at an entry point of his or her profession, begin the lobby of building a worthy social capital?
Thank you. Building a virtual tribe takes time and it takes effort. I tell you, being a content creator, because you must give the people value. If you want people to follow you, always come to either your Facebook, your Instagram, your Twitter, and do. If you want people to engage you, you must give value. It's either you are writing on a particular concept, and over time you are consistent. Not only that, engage other people. When they give things, comment on it, like it, share it, applaud what they are doing. I tell you, you know, there's a saying in the scripture that says, give and it shall be given unto you. I tell people that concept is not limited to money alone. Whatever you give laughter, then people will reciprocate. Give honor, it will be given back to you. When you fry your face, it will be given back to you. Whatever you want others to do to you, do it to them first. And I can tell you, with consistency, with value creation and value addition, you can build a virtual tribe, and you yourself, you'll be surprised. Then secondly, as a new entrant, one of the things you need to do, learn to volunteer. See, if you don't serve people, people will not serve you. no matter what you know. I will also share a personal experience based on that question. The first job I got when I left school was in an audit firm. I was an audit trainee. Beautiful enough, the day I resumed in the office, I was taken to a client's office directly. I got to the office and they said, sorry, one of our clients in the hospitality industry, we are starting the audit today. They
we're having such a smooth flow. Okay.
Can you hear me? Hello? Mr. Olamide, are you still there? Can our audience hear me?
Hello, Mr. Olumide. Can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me? Okay, I think they can hear me. Okay, thank you very much. So I was saying that the first job I had was in an audit outfit, and I was taken to our client's place. I can hear you, Anchor. But the feel I'm getting.
Yes, I can hear you too now. Okay, good. It seems to be.
You can hear me too. Okay. Okay. So I was taken to a client's office, and being an audit trainee, I went there with somebody who was, I met him in the organization. We came in as fresh, graduate, went through the test interview and we passed. He had been there. So he was being paid lesser than what we graduate trainees were being paid. So by the time we got to the place to audit, what he did for me was to abandon me there. He left me in the client's office and went his way. That after all, you guys are the big guys. You are the audit trainee. They are paying you better pay. Begin to figure things out yourself. What I did was to massage his ego. I needed to appreciate and honor him and let him realize that even though I have been paid more than he's being paid, he's still my boss. He's still my organ. It wasn't time to be arrogant because he needed to put me through on the job. He needed to assist me. So when you enter an office, watch the climate of the office and stay humble. Learn to volunteer. Serve the people you meet there. You are not supposed to be a carpet or a rock to be walked upon, but learn to serve others. And I tell you, keep humble. It is how to survive in the place of work. There is politics everywhere. So don't write your own will before time. Be humble, volunteer, serve others, and be hardworking. I think with that, it will be a smooth run for you growing on the ladder. Thank you very much.
Oh, wow. Very well put, sir. Be humble, but yes, be hardworking in all that you do. And learn to speak up, but don't be timid and neither be arrogant in all that you do. It's been an engaging session, and I'm so happy with the engagement from our viewers who are sending their question from everywhere they are connected from. Mr. Olumide, I would proceed by saying this, that given the importance of building social capital and the direct impact on career and livelihood, would mentoring in any way play a role in developing one's social capital?
The answer is yes, sir. In fact, mentoring is crucial, especially for those who are just coming up. I will advise, if there's anything you need to do, you need to seek mentoring. And of course, for the older generation who have been in the system for long, they should also learn to mentor those who are coming in, so that there will be a sort of passing of the baton from the younger generation to the older generation. So mentoring is crucial, sir.
Straight to the point. Mentoring is crucial. As a mentee, look for a mentor, and also as a mentor, try to find a mentee who you can build up in the proper way. Mr. Olumide, it's been a roller coaster so far, but I would quickly go on a short break to let you just take a sip of water because we've been on this and there's still more questions to come. My dear viewers, please stay tuned. I'll be right back with Mr. Olumide Olusola as we go on this short commercial break. We'll be right back. Stay tuned. Welcome back, everyone. Dear esteemed viewers and professional colleagues, I'm sure you've been having a wonderful time on today's ICAN on Air, and we've been guested by Mr. Olusola Olumide, who is an emotional intelligence expert, and has been doing justice to highlight to us on how we can build our social capital and how it affects our career. For a good career advancement. And just before we went on that break, we were talking about the need to have a mentor, and Mr. Olumide spoke in the affirmative that yes, it is very important. Mr. Olumide, could you please then take us through how mentoring can assist to show up an average professional social capital and by extension, improve their career? Olumide, can you hear me, sir?
Olamide, can you please repeat that? I didn't hear that.
Okay, can you hear me now, sir? Is it better?
Yes, I can hear you now, sir.
Oh, perfect. I was saying that before we went on the break, we both agreed on the fact that it is quite important to have a mentorship. So I was now asking as a follow-up question to that, could you please take us through how mentoring can assist to shore up an average professional's social capital and by extension, improve their career?
Thank you very much. I want our audience to really pay attention, because I will be knocking on certain issues which we individually will look into, so that we don't commit career suicide as we go on. Now, when you are talking about mentoring, mentoring is talking about a relationship between two people with a goal of professional and personal development. The mentor is usually an experienced individual who shares knowledge, experience, know-how, advice with a less experienced person who is called a mentee. Now, relationship is like a cross. It has vertical and horizontal axis. There are people above us. Those are our mentors, our leaders, our elders, our superior. There are people who are under us. For those who are mentors, now they are mentees, followers, or subordinates. At the same time, there are people who are horizontally on the same level, laterally, they're on the same level with us. And our associates, our contemporaries, our colleagues, our friends. Now, take note of the following. In mentor-mentee relationship, there is what we call the reluctance of a passive mentee. There are passive mentee and they are passive. What are they looking for? They are only looking for identification. Reluctance of a passive mentee, and passive mentees are looking for identification. I want you to, my audience, listen. Are you caught in the web? Are you reluctant? Are you a passive mentee? You just want to identify with the big guy to benefit. Number two, there's what I call parasite mentees. And I put it as there is the rustiness of parasite mentees. Parasite mentees are only looking for investment. They want you to invest in their life and nothing more. They are not ready to reciprocate. Number three, there is what I call the prodigal mentee. And I put it as the refuser of a prodigal mentee. The prodigal mentee, they want to go on isolation. After they have make you dry, they isolate and go away. I want us to look into the three I've mentioned now. Anybody who is not conscientious enough, who is not careful and intentional enough, can fall into this trap. However, beyond these three, there are other mentees, which I want our audience to cultivate, especially those who are just starting out. There are productive mentees. And I call those ones, or I put it as the resilience of productive mentees. These mentees, they are looking for intimacy. They want to be there with you. As you are teaching them, nurturing them, they are ready to reciprocate. Then, secondly, on that cadre, there are proactive mentees. I put it as the responsiveness of proactive mentees. These mentees, they want innovation. Out of the five, you will fall into one or two. The one you fall into will determine what you get out of the relationship. So look at yourself in your place of work. The people you relate with. Are you passive? Are you parasitic? Are you prodigal? Look at yourself. Are you productive? Are you proactive? Whichever class you fall into will determine what you will get out of the relationship. Thank you very much. And it will determine how much of a social capital you have built. Before I allow you to come in, sir, my uncle.
Yes, sir.
If you don't have your social capital in credit, it will be in deficit. When you are in deficit, you become bankrupt, capital-wise. When you become bankrupt, you know what that means in accounting. If you don't file for bankruptcy, they will file for bankruptcy for you. And you know that is the end of the story. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Olumide, for infusing the accounting terms that our members are generally used to in the day-to-day works of their career. And just to reiterate what you've said, that you should, as a mentee, you don't want to be a passive mentee. neither do you want to be a parasitic mentee, a parasite, or neither do you want to be a prodigal mentee. You rather, want to either be a productive mentee or be a proactive mentee so that you can, grow in your career, and that will even encourage, the mentor to even, deposit more in one's career and growth. And those are wonderful nuggets to live by. Mr. Olumide, moving forward as our time gradually goes, I'd like to say that given your experience in the development of social capital for the professional, would you say there is a nexus between developing social capital and mental health of a professional?
Thank you. The answer is in the affirmative. Developing social capital, having friends, building sound, robust, symbiotic relationship is a form of support system. See, there is nobody who can do his life all alone, no matter who you are. Nobody has monopoly of knowledge. If you are on your own, I tell you, it will create. Of course, let's look at COVID. Being alone, we have now seen that we have been created as gregarious beings. We flock together. It's never going to be healthy to be isolated, to be alone. So the nexus is obvious between social capital and mental health. COVID that lasted for how many months depleted the mental health of people living in the world globally. A lot of tantrums, a lot of behavioral disorder, a lot of mental case issue came to the fore. People became depressed. People became suicidal. Go and find out. Some were just alone. Some had nobody to talk to. There were many people that died. So social capital is a form of social support to you, apart from progressing your career, giving you financial benefit. Have somebody to talk with. Have somebody you can laugh together. Have somebody you can shout and know. Do you know what? Hugging people is therapeutic. When you are alone, it may be next door to untimely death. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much for that. It is very, 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 therapeutic to not dwell alone. I mean, one of the only books even say that, man shall not be alone. Man here means both male and female. So we all need to ensure we create our social capital and not, be alone. And as we go on, also, I would like to say that, pardon me, sir, that, hello, sir, can you hear me?
I can hear you clearly.
Okay, sir. So let's take a look at Nigeria as a country. Given the political, economic, and business environment, how important is social capital in surviving the different facets of the nation's environment?
Thank you very much. Survivor is a product of having people around you, like what I just said. However, I also want to draw the following. As Nigerians, look at what we've been through economically. But you will discover that having that communal life as a way of helping us or to assuage our pains. When you meet with somebody, when you are talking with somebody, somebody is laughing at you, you are laughing at another person, you meet your friend, you hang out, at least momentarily you forget your sorrow. So it helps our economic life. It assists us. It helps us to survive. And not only that, you're not going to do business in isolation. You need other people. No matter how little, the exchange will be there. You give me something, I buy something from you, you give me cash. So, and of course, our population is a key factor. You see people coming from overseas, coming to set up organization or company or firm here, because if the people in Lagos alone patronizes you, you know, you've reached another level. So, as a country, we need social capital. It will help us. Number one, all this aggression, you know, fighting, bullying, and what have you, can go down if we shore up our social capital. It's not just relating with people, relating in a robust way and in a beneficial way. So I will say it can help us economically and as a nation to survive. Thank you.
Absolutely. It can help us economically and as a nation to survive. Indeed, my viewers connected everywhere from Italy to Maiduguri to Costa Rica, because it is a World Cup season and this is a World Cup edition. So people are connected all over the world and they're really, really enjoying this particular edition of ICAN on Air. And as we gradually wrap up, I'll just say that what would actually be your closing thoughts by saying that ICAN is always open to ideas that would positively advance the growth of our members and the accountancy profession and the Nigerian business environment. As we are all warming up to say goodbye to the year 2022, what is your advice or suggestion to our members on further contributions in discourse on growing social capital, even as we move into the year 2023?
Thank you very much. I want to appreciate the Institute for this opportunity given to me to be here. And of course, we have seen it of late that some of these social skill concepts are being tested in the professional exams. It shows the Institute is abreast with what's happening. Beyond that is the need to train employees. The Institute has employees. The Institute can as well encourage organizations, professional accountants who are listening to me, head of organization, CFO, CEOs who are here or who will listen to this session. You can invite us, therapists, psychologists, to come and talk to your people. Of course, as far as the technical competence is concerned, they may be sound, but we should not forget, being an accountant is just one of the many expressions they have. They are accountants, they are fathers, they are mothers, they are husbands, they are wives. Some of them are pastors, some of them are imam, some of them is somebody's son or daughter. So we have different expressions of our lives. So being technically sound is just one. They need others. And of course, we are open as an organization to come and take on different organizations, develop their social skill. And I tell you, it will add to their productivity. As I round up to my viewers, please take note of these 7 things as I close. Beware of misunderstanding with people who matter in your life. Number 2, beware of misrepresentation. Number 3, beware of maltreatment. Number 4, beware of migrating out of the confluence and influence of people that should matter in your life. Because the first 3, misunderstanding, misrepresentation, and maltreatment, can cause you to migrate. There are people listening to me now, they are thinking of quitting their job because of what they are passing through, because the environment is toxic and what. So beware of misunderstanding, beware of misrepresentation, beware of maltreatment, and beware of migration. Number 5, you need to master what you need to do in the fulfillment of your destiny. Then number 6, you need to learn to meet people and also meet the need of people. Don't just meet people, meet the need of people who will eventually matter or who can matter in your life. Then finally, if you do the first 6, there is no doubt one day you will mount the throne with people who really matters. Thank you very much.
Absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant, Mr. Olusola Olumide. I mean, it's been a wonderful show having you on board. And my viewers will agree with me that you're the perfect man that has done justice to the topic of discourse. And we are very grateful for having you. And we know that anytime we beckon on you, you'll be more than glad to come on ICAN on Air. As we gradually wrap up today, thank you so much. Thank you so much for being on board. A reminder to all our members that the Institute Fellowship Registration Portal is now open for members that are eligible for fellowship status. They should kindly visit the ICAN website for more details. That is www.ICAN-ngr.org. And as we close, I'll say till we come your way again next week Tuesday with another excellent guest and topic. Do stay safe. Have an amazing weekend ahead. On behalf of the producers and editorial team, I am Olumide Balogun FCA saying thank you for tuning in and bye for now.